Thank you all for coming this afternoon. They were mothers, they were fathers, they were brothers and sisters, wives and husbands, friends and community members. They were gay, they were straight, they were transgender, they were bisexual. They were Hispanic, they were black, they were white. But above all, they were all humans. They died dancing with their friends, partners, lovers, and family, and died because of who they were. It was Audre Lorde who said it best. It is not our differences that divide us, it's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. Thank you all for joining us today to mourn the 49 lives lost in the tragedy that occurred at 2:00 a.m. on June 12th in Orlando, Florida. This tragic event is sadly not the first attack on the LGBTQ community, but hopefully it will be the last. We've invited speakers today to share their words of wisdom that we hope will help to heal and process these emotions we were all feeling after this horrific attack on our fellow human beings. We hope that they will bring light and hope of a better day ahead. Please join me in welcoming to the podium our first speaker, Chase Goodwin, SGA President, 2014-2016.
Good afternoon. My name is Chase Goodwin, and I am the former student body president from 2014 to 2016. I want to thank the organizers for calling upon my continual leadership during a trying time such as today. It is truly an honor. On June 12th, 49 Americans died at the hands of one man. Not only were these 49 individuals American, they were special. They are members of a community that has been challenged, members of a community that puts love first and everything else second. A community that has fought tirelessly for decades in this country just to be themselves. The LGBTQ community was attacked on Sunday. Where did this take place? Pulse. Characterized as a gay nightclub in Orlando, but was so much more than that. It was a safe haven. A safe haven for a community that has been continuously oppressed in this country, but that safe place has been taken from them and replaced with the blood of 49 souls. These 49 Americans, these 49 lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, queer people who were killed because of who they love. Because of who they love. This isn't the first time they have been attacked. The LGBTQ community is attacked every day in much more subtle ways, but just as deadly. Suicide, self-harm, substance abuse, physical abuse, and mental abuse. This community is not accepted because of love. Let me tell you, we need to take some notes from the LGBTQ community and love. Incidents like these will continue to happen if we have rhetoric in our country that is intolerant of others. No matter a person's race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or religion, an American is an American. We are in extreme danger of turning back the clock. With our political climate today, I hear a lot of hate. Hate won on June 12th. We cannot let hate win on November 8th. The same issues that LGBT community and other oppressed communities are facing today were faced 30, 40 years ago. We are caught into an endless, continual cycle. It is time to break that cycle. It is time to reject the bigotry in this country because you have no place here. Pushing people out does not solve anything. Xenophobic paranoia is not the way this country is going to go. Strength is not kicking and screaming and building walls. Strength is actually accepting people that are different than you. Bringing them into your inner circle. Giving them a seat at the table and that influence that we all so desire. Diversity is America's greatest strength. The LGBTQ community has had shadows cast over it before, but that rainbow continues to shine through, and love always wins. Thank you, and go Grizzlies.
Thank you, Chase Goodwin. Our next speaker is Renee Bernal,
Good afternoon. Hello all. I would first like to say that I send my condolences to Orlando and the families that were affected by the shooting on June 12th. We need to unite as a community to show that we will not be affected by an act of homophobic behavior. We will not be defined by a hateful shooter, but yet we will be defined by how we love each other. The place where we were attacked was more than a nightclub. It was a place of solidarity, empowerment, a place where we weren't afraid to be ourselves. We as an LGBT community should stand together out of love for one another rather for hate than another person's actions. Not only just the LGBT community, but all our allies, regardless of race, religion, and ethnicity. This is the kind of event that makes teenagers and young adults not want to come out and be themselves. But as GGC's president of an organization that represents the LGBTQ community, I will not stand down. It is our duty as an organization to continue to proudly and openly support members and allies, as well as promoting a safe and positive environment for the LGBT community, including our allies. I can only hope that one day the community will continue to grow and gain acceptance, and tragedies like the ones in Orlando will no longer be a problem. To the people that wish to put blame, I'll leave you this quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate weakness of violence is that it's a descending spiral, begetting the very thing it seeks to destroy. Instead of it diminishing evil, it multiplies it. Through violence, you may get rid of the liar, but you cannot get rid of the lie, nor establish the truth. Through violence, you may get rid of the hater, but you can never get rid of the hate. In fact, violence merely increases hate. Returning violence for violence only multiplies violence, and adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Our next speaker is Mr. Allan Clark, Volunteer Coordinator.
Peace. Peace to all of you. My heart melts. I send my heartfelt condolences, but I know this is little consolation. Is this confirmation of the wickedness that dwells in the hearts of man? I cry tears in Langston's rivers. Deep I weep. Emotions sweep over me. Are we overly obsessed with violence? Or are the lives of others so inconsequential we don't see their worth or humanity? Condemn me. I stood silent. Condemn me. I grew numb and accepted this evil as the norm, the status quo. But now I need to speak about solutions. Find a way for the madness to end. Because I got no time to be a slave to my political leanings. For how can I be a bleeding heart when my heart is bleeding? Now, I don't want to be cliche right now, and I know I probably will be. I don't want to give the usual response, so what do I say? I can only encourage you to have the dialogue. I encourage you to find ways to come together, because that's what real community is about. That's what true diversity is about. It's about voices, about empowerment, about representation at the table, not numbers, or making sure that we have a visual of people who represent all different groups. I beg y'all, please, this generation, please find solutions. Please find common ground. This tragedy highlights our failings on so many levels. And I'm sad to say that once again, a little person with a small mind has destroyed the lives of so many powerful, promising brothers and sisters and their loved ones. We ask for blessings for the victims and their families. I ask for peace. Because as I grew up, I was taught by the elders that peace was not only a cry for quiet, solace, tranquility, and an end to violence. They also taught me an acronym that went, positive energy always corrects errors. So let's try, as we ask for peace, to correct our errors in judgment, to correct all the errors of our ways. Let's look for ways to love the humanity in all people. Let's look and see the divinity in those who smell, eat, worship, and love differently from us. Let's search for agreements over arguments, for forgiveness over castigation, for overstanding rather than our own selfish truths. As these events in Orlando teach us, life is short. Therefore, let's spend the little time that we have seeking commonality rather than petty differences. Peace. Peace be with you all.
Thank you, Mr. Allan Clark. Our next representative is Mariela Tejeda Garcia, the Vice President of the Organization of Latin American Students.
Last Sunday, 49 dear lives were taken away. 49 young, full of life, and innocent people will never have a chance to dance, sing, or smile again. They were brothers, sisters, daughters, friends. They were human beings that went out to celebrate life but never came back. There is no doubt that this mass shooting is the result of hate. Hate from those that know nothing about respect and love. This tragedy had a great impact in the LGBTQ community, who with no doubt were the target of the horrible aggressor. And I know that now, more than ever, the world calls for acceptance, less discrimination, and more equality. Today, I believe I speak for the Latino community, who was greatly affected with over 90% of the victims being Latino, when I say that no matter our religion, gender, race, sexual orientation, no matter what, people should learn to respect life, respect others, and respect each individual's ideals. After seeing many testimonials from survivors, and just thinking about the violence and the trouble that surround our society, I cannot deny that it is hard to see a bright future and positive future ahead of us. However, we have to be persistent and have hope and for a better future where there is no place for harm and destruction. And we, as the future of tomorrow, have to make sure that everywhere we go, we plant a seed of hope and peace. We need to educate ourselves and help others learn that there's many different cultures, values, beliefs, attitudes, the differences that define each individual in many communities around the world. I just want to leave you with one quote of one of the most loving women in the world, Mother Teresa, and it reads, "We do not need guns and bombs to bring peace. We need love and compassion." So just keep in mind that when we irradiate peace and respect, and we give acceptance and love, that is what we receive back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariela. Our next representative is Momma Dee Marina from the Muslim Student Association.
Peace be upon to you all. With the Muslim Student Association of GGC, do speak for the rest of the Muslim society by saying that we empathize with the rest of the world about this horrendous act. This individual, whom I refuse to say his name due to the fact that I do not want to glorify his lunacy, do not represent any of us in the hate-motivated actions on these innocent victims. In the Quran, Allah states that if any individual takes an innocent life, will be like taking the life of the whole of mankind. 49 lives are gone and will never return to this earth. They are robbed of the wisdom to know what the future holds for them. Who was he to be judged to judge the life of the innocent? Let us remember that one of these victims could easily have been one of us, could easily have been a brother of ours, could have been sister of ours, or even a friend. Thinking about this act sends me to a very emotional space, to weep till there are no tears in my eyes. A word to ISIS: you think you represent us, but you really don't. We the Muslims, we the 1.5 billion Muslims, join the rest of the world in banishing your acts. We do not approve of the message you are trying to spread. We disapprove of the killings and the horrible acts you are committing around the world. You do not represent us. Stop acting like you do, because you are not true Muslims. As we participate in this holy month of Ramadan, we pray for the souls and hope that they are in the better place. Thank you all.
Thank you, Momma Dee. Our next speaker is Dan Nolan, the Chief of Staff of the President's Office.
No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of a continent, a part of the main. And any man's death diminishes me, because I'm involved in mankind. Therefore, never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for these. Those are the words of 16th century poet John Donne, and they ring as true today as they did then. On Sunday, June 12th, in Orlando, Florida, we were all diminished. The bell has rung for us. The atrocity committed in Orlando was an act of fear and hate. Whether that hatred was based in personal prejudice or extreme beliefs, the act was that of a diseased mind. What is troubling is that the spewing of hateful speech is not treated with revulsion, but with indifference. Elie Wiesel, the Nobel laureate, once said that the opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. The opposite of beauty is not ugliness, it's indifference. The opposite of faith is not heresy, it is indifference. And the opposite of life is not death, but indifference between life and death. When we say we do not care about something, we profess our indifference. When, in the face of tragedy, we take to social media, but take no social action, we are indifferent. When we talk casually about protecting the rights of others with lives not our own, we are indifferent. It's time to stop being indifferent and to make a difference. Many years ago, when I was a soldier, we would run in formation, and it was common to sing running songs called jodies to help keep people in the right step. On occasion, we would hear a Jody where an adjacent unit running alongside was disparaging, spoken badly of as being weak, slovenly, or worst of all, a sailor. In units where I was in charge, when this happened, I would immediately stop the unit and ask them how they could belittle another organization who might be fighting on our flank one day. Once we'd had that discussion, we would continue on the run, adding a mile or two to let it soak in. But I would not be indifferent to how we treated others. There's a reason Coca-Cola does not publish advertising that is mocking of Pepsi. Marketing research shows that if that happens, Pepsi retaliates. The market for both products decreased significantly. We're now engaged in our quadrennial presidential process, and for the first time ever, according to the website 538.com, both candidates have the highest unfavorable rating of any two presidential candidates in recent years. One of the reasons is the unrelenting attack ads. The candidates have been diminished by these assaults, and we have become indifferent to them and to those ads. It's time to stop being indifferent and to make a difference. Challenge those who ridicule others to tell you why their position is good, not better. Better is comparative. Good is absolute. When you value what others value, you find trust in those others. When you fear others unreasonably, that fear becomes mindless hatred. We must not be indifferent to that hate. When someone tells you that their problems are the responsibility of someone else, someone different, know that you're hearing the voice of fear, the voice of hate. Challenge that voice. Make them explain what it is they fear, what it is they hate. This can be done with dignity and respect, but those voices must be challenged. Do not be indifferent. We've lost sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, friends and lovers to the voice of hate. We cannot be indifferent to those losses. The only way back from the terrible necessity of grief is action. The action you can take is to demand your political representatives represent your interests, but not your self-interests. Politicians are not our leaders. They are our political servants, our representatives, and we have a responsibility to hold them accountable. We can do that at the ballot box, or we can become representatives of the community ourselves. The alternative is to be indifferent, to ask only, what is in it for me? If we ask that, we have gone beyond indifference and become servants of ourselves. Do not become that person. Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Let the grief you feel propel you to find joy in service to others. Give to the Equality Florida Pulse Victims Fund. Donate blood. Challenge ideologies that condone violence. Be the difference you want to see in the world. Indifference is the absence of the pain of grief, but it is also the absence of the healing of joy. Find a way to transform yourself. Transform those around you and transform your community. That's the GGC way. It is the only path to make our way out of the shadows and into the light. Pray if that gives you solace, but take action to give solace to others. Thank you. Go Grizzlies.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Dan Nolan. Our next speaker has sent us his message, we have two messages to read for you today. We do have one from Quinn Mays, an LGBTQ activist and former Black Student Union president, and we also have a message from the GGC SGA president, Tammy Lou. Our first words from Quinn Mays read, I am so sorry and hurt by not being able to come in solidarity with you all, but I am here with you, with my words and with my pain. I would like everyone to understand the importance of knowing that the horrid incident this past weekend affected the Latin community and Muslim, LGBT community, as well as the Muslim community. We must uplift these communities and stand in solidarity with these folks from these spaces. I woke up Sunday morning hurt by the actions of not only Omar Mateen, but I was hurt when I understood that he was a creation from the normalization of homophobia, transphobia, and just a general hatred of the LGBT community. Whether it is the 100 active anti-LGBTQ bills over the 22 states, discrimination in workspaces, and of course the unspoken, undocumented deaths of trans women of color. Today in America, we have so much hurt and pain that we as people must take action, make a change. We must uplift those voices of the unheard and place them in our networks, allowing the amplification of their stories. We must come together regardless of your personal beliefs, regardless of how you navigate. We must come together to remember the lives of sons, parents, daughters, sisters, boyfriends, best friends, and loved ones lost in the Pulse shooting. They were not only members and allies of the LGBTQ community, but they were our family members. Being here means that you already are taking the first step in change, which is empathy. The next is unity. I would like for you to break down the barriers of your communities and intertwine your spaces with one another so we can all grow and change while also building a better community with this newly found space. We must not erase nor assimilate our differences into more acceptable ideals, but come as one, accepting each other's differences and using that to uplift one another. Listen to each other's stories, understand one another, because those things will aid us in building a better, safer, and more inclusive community. In closing, I would like for you to take this quote for individual dissection and action. In the words of Bell Hooks, "Beloved community is not formed by the eradication of differences, but by its affirmation, by each of us claiming the identities and cultural legacies that shape who we are and how we live and win the world." Thank you. Next, I would like to invite up Grizzly News Network President Garrison Douglas to speak on behalf of the SGA President Tammy Lou.
All right. I guess, like you said, I'll be reading President Tammy Lou's statement. Begins. As a GGC SGA President, I feel very upset. I feel profoundly saddened and disappointed by the senseless violence that has occurred in Orlando, Florida. GGC stands with the victims and their families. I pray that the brutal act in Orlando would not harden the afflicted hearts. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family members of those who lost their lives, all of the brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters. May your hearts remain unhardened by the senseless act, and may your spirits always thrive in the light of love and forgiveness. My dream is to one day see a world that comes together to fight for one cause: love.
Thank you all for joining us here today for our program. Please feel free to go over to the condolence jar and put your condolences, prayers, thoughts for the families and victims affected by this horrible tragedy. Thank you all.